Welcome, welcome, welcome to YMA Chat. I am Coach Les, and I am here with Mr. Yarwood. Recently leveled up in his achievement to become a master at martial arts, and is now working on fulfilling on the master program for the next year. And congratulations once again, Mr. Yarwood, on that achievement. It
Thank you,
is
sir.
definitely, I asked Mr. Yarwood to explain it to me, so I'm going to do my best to recreate it real quick. But it takes 2 to 4 years to become a black belt. And then each level after that is the level of black belt times years to get to the next black belt. So from your first black belt to the second one is 2 years, third one is 3 years, fourth one is 4 years, fifth one is 5 years, which you just achieved, correct?
Correct.
And
Now
what
I have 6 years till this next one.
6 years till the next one. And when do you stop at 9?
Well, the highest rank, black belt rank, is 9th degree.
9th degree. So,
but it's in our organization. That's our grand master. So I don't know if it's going to be just him to 9th degree or what happens. So currently we don't have any 8th degrees. We just got 2 new 7th degrees. So we have a few 7th degrees, but nobody at 8th degree. So we're at least 10 years away from another 9th degree in our organization.
Got it. But you're currently a 6th degree.
Correct.
So now so that's +7, and then it'll be +8.
So it's 6 years from where I am now to 7th degree is 6 years.
Okay.
And then once I'm a 7th degree to 8th degree, that's 7 years. So that's 13. Okay. And then once I'm a 8th degree, it's 8 years to 9th degree. So that's another 8.
So 21 years.
21 years to get to 9th degree.
So you'll be 71.
21, 76.
76. There you go.
Older than you.
Yeah, that is significantly older than me, but thanks for just remember I have hair.
Yeah, I could have hair if I wanted. I choose not
to. Looks pretty shiny to me.
On purpose.
Amen. All right. Well, all right. So let's see. Tonight we're looking at number 87, and we're going to be talking. I think this is going to be a twofer right here. There's just because I know how much I have in my head to talk about this. And I've been in sports since I was. When did I start in official sports? Well, when I first moved over to this country, I started playing hockey at 11 and a half. Yeah. So I've been in official sports teams and played on teams up until just 5 years ago, less than 5 years ago, for soccer.
Yep.
And so I've definitely, tonight's discussion is what martial arts gives kids that sports sometimes doesn't. And I'm super excited because I know for myself, right, from my point of view, and this doesn't dismiss or take away from anybody else's point of view. This is just my point of view, which is limited, by the way, because I haven't been a professional athlete. I have not been a collegiate athlete, although I tried the swimming deal at the University of Minnesota, and it lasted a week. And I figured, I thought I loved being in the swimming pool
Until you had to be in it.
until like the fourth day I kind of went, okay, I think I've had enough with multiple hours per day, morning and night and afternoon. And I said, that's it, I'm done.
Yep.
I lasted less than a week. Less than a week. So other than that, my everything has been intramural based, team based, fun based, recreational based sports. And so, I'm super excited to hear what you have to share. And then, like I said, I've got plenty to share, and we're talking about character development, individual responsibility, consistency over talent, confidence through achievement, respect in action, and then we'll have opening and closing conversations. So let's dive in. How would you like to start this, Mr. Yarwood? I'm going to pass the mic over to you.
Yeah, so I also have a lot of experience in team sports, particularly football. I played football from third grade all the way through all 4 years of college. So that's, I don't know how many years that is, but a lot. And then after I got done with college, I actually went back to my junior high and coached for another 7 years. So I probably have 20 years in the team experience when it comes to team sports. I understand how they operate. All of my friends played team sports, whether it be hockey or basketball or, football, obviously, baseball. So I was around it. I grew up in it. We played team sports as kids, just goofing around. It was always, always there. And so I'm fully aware of everything that a team sport has to offer. I am a product of it. Now that I'm a martial artist, I recognize the differences between the two, because martial arts is very individual based. It's very you are your own competition. You are the person who either succeeds or fails, and it's up to you to to determine whether one of those two things happens. And along the way, there's so many more things that you learn when it comes to, we talk about life skills that that nothing against them, team sports just don't offer. I've learned I learned more in the first 3 years of being a martial artist than I did in 20 years of playing football when it came to life skills, when it came to operating outside of the sport itself. Um, there's obviously there's a lot of positives in team sports. There's a lot of things you can learn from team sports, but it's not designed for life skill training. It's not designed. That's not the purpose of it, right? The purpose of it is teamwork. The purpose of it is, you can build leadership out of there, obviously, because you're going to have leaders on your team, but it's more competitive. It's competition based. It's winning based, and the goal ultimately is to beat other teams, right? That's what you're there for. And then you act as a team. When it comes to football, there's 11 guys on the field playing all at one time, right? And they all have a role to play within that team. So there are individual things, but it's designed around everybody doing their job, so the whole team operates as one. When you're on the mats of justice, you're by yourself when it comes to that stuff, right? You're not competing against anybody. You're not trying to your performance doesn't affect anybody else's performance, right? It's you, right? We have 20 kids in our level 1 class, and we have kids anywhere who struggle because they're day 1, day 2, week 1, and we have students who are ready to move into level 2. The difference between them is stark because of the time spent in the training. And even though it's been maybe 4 months, you can see the difference, right? But how the kid who just started doesn't affect the person who's getting ready to test for the next level, right? In football, team sports in particular, the guy who doesn't do well on the team affects the whole team. So there's a big difference in how that operation happens, right? So it's a perspective. It's different. it just operates differently in the world of competition. It operates in life skill training, and there's just big differences between the two. So I thought it'd be something interesting to kind of talk about that, because nowadays sports aren't the way they were when I grew up, right? You played football for a season, you played hockey for a season, you played whatever it is for a season, and then you did something else. Now hockey is year round, and it's I mean, when we go to our morning thing, right, our morning networking meeting, there's kids coming out of the ice rink when I arrive there, and I get there at 6:15 a.m. And there's kids who've already been there for an hour on the ice training for hockey, right? That didn't exist when I was a kid, right? That's just a completely different animal to me. So the operations are completely different now. The goals for parents of their kids is completely different than when I played. My mom just wanted me to not get hurt playing football. Nowadays, there's so many parents who they're like their kids the next Wayne Gretzky. You know what I mean? And they're spending all this time and energy and money sacrificing for this kid. Hopefully, they're going to be this professional athlete that's going to make lots of money. And the reality is likely that they're not. So the drive, the motivation, the reason behind what they do is different than how martial arts operates.
Yeah, and speak to your experience with, I don't want to say helicopter parents, but that aspect of for you growing up.
Man, when I was growing up, that kind of parenting, the way it is now in terms of sports or just in general, didn't exist. There wasn't, our parents didn't hover over us constantly, always protecting us, always making sure that, you know, they were advocating for us constantly in whatever situation we were in, always doing everything for us, making sure we had every single thing. There was that just it wasn't how they operated, right? I didn't grow up, my mom didn't do that for me, right? I left during the summertime. I left to go outside and play. I came back when the lights came on, except for when I come home for lunch. I left for school. My mom didn't walk me to the bus stop, not even on day one, right? I figured out where the bus stop was. I went there on my own. I had my own stuff in my backpack. You know, maybe she made me a lunch, but that was about it, right? There wasn't this, you know, parents now. We have parents in our neighborhood here. Their kids' bus stop is 3 houses away, and they sit in their car and wait until the bus comes and their kid gets on the bus.
What is with that?
I don't understand it. It's like your kid, you're not helping your kid to understand how to live life, right? If you're constantly doing everything for them and you're always around them and you're hovering and making sure they got this, and they got that, they got this, they got that, they're not learning anything, right? And it goes the same way with the sports parents. It's like they're constantly on them about all this stuff and making sure this and making sure that and taking, you know, advocating for them when it comes to the coach. And my kid should be playing. How come my kid doesn't get in time? Just over and over and over and over again. I experienced when I was coaching, I experienced that. That's kind of when it was starting to get to happen. It was like the mid 90s. These parents would be out there. How come my kid's not playing more? I go, have you seen your kid play? If you watch your kid play, you'll know why he's not playing more. Right? So there's that whole this mentality. We need to constantly protect them and keep them safe. And I get it. We want to keep our kids safe, but at to what detriment to them, right? They have to be able to branch out on their own and learn things and be part of something that's not inclusive of mom and dad, right? And it affects. I think it affects them not just for their specific sport, right, but just life in general. They're not learning anything by constantly having everything taken care of for them. Everything, you know, a list that mom's got all her stuff in the bag. We got to make sure we have everything. It's like, no, sometimes the kid has to take responsibility for their stuff. That's just how it is. And if they're not learning that, they're not getting the experience that they're going to need when real life happens, when they finally, you know, leave the house when they're 30.
Yeah. Yeah. And what about the fact that do you see parents trying to relive their own youth through their child?
Not even that. I mean, that's part of it. You know, there's also that vicarious life too. That's something that they never got to do, so they want to make sure their kid gets the experience. I would say, I mean, I can't give you statistics specifically, but I would say at least one out of every three kids doesn't want to do the sport mom and dad are making them do, right? Because my when my boy was growing up, I asked him if he wanted to play football. And at the time, he's young. He looked up to me. He said, "Yeah, I want to be like you. I want to play football." So I let him play football, but I didn't make him play. He played for a couple years, and he comes up to me after the end of his last season. He goes, "Dad, I don't want to play football anymore." I said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And I wasn't saying you have to do something else. I just say, "What do you want to do?" He goes, "Well, I want to try soccer." I said, "All right, let's go try soccer." Right? So he tried soccer. All the while, he was also doing martial arts. He was also doing karate. He started taekwondo when he was 3, so that was the first thing he ever did. He doesn't have a memory of not doing taekwondo. It's who he is. But we allowed him to try other things because that's an opportunity for him to try stuff. But we never pushed anything on him other than I made him go to karate. But that's for me that's different because it wasn't just about karate. So he tried soccer for a couple years and it was fun, but it wasn't like his thing. And then he's like, when he got into junior high, then he started wanting to play basketball. So then he played basketball till he graduated from high school. All the while doing karate. He never stopped doing karate, right? That was always in the background. And that's kind of the whole thing is like, I think doing karate, taekwondo, made him a better athlete at his other sports. Not just physically, but he understood how to operate in environments that were stressful, things that challenged him, things that put him in a position that he may not have felt comfortable. But he was being exposed to the martial arts and having to go through all that even as a little kid. He understood those situations and he dealt with them way better than I saw some other kids that would just break under the stress. And I saw a stark difference. And it may have been a little biased, obviously, but you recognize how a kid operates in certain situations, and he responded really well, and I attribute that to all the martial arts training he has. Because team sports is different, right? But he grew up in both, so he has both perspectives of individual martial arts, team sports, because he played football, soccer, basketball, all 3 different team sports. So he knows all about both sides. But right now, what's he doing? Martial arts. He's still doing it. Team sports stuff, he watches team sports. He loves basketball still, but he doesn't play anymore. But he can still do martial arts because it's a lifelong thing, physically, mentally, emotionally, career wise. I mean, it offers everything that he wants in his life.
Yeah, and I think also it's easier to get lost in a sport when you're playing on a team.
Yep. If you're not the standout guy.
Yeah, if you're not one of the.
I experienced that myself when I went to college, right? We had 115 guys on the team. So we had double numbers because there were so many of us, right? As a freshman, I didn't stand out. I wasn't the best at anything there, right? I just loved playing football. So I showed up every day and busted my ass. But I didn't play a varsity game till I was a senior. I didn't stand out. I was a number. Obviously, the longer I was there, the coach started to figure out who I was, but at the beginning, nobody knew who I was. I didn't expect them to. The only way I would have stood out is if I did something I wasn't supposed to do.
Yeah, in which case it might not have been a good thing.
Yeah. So that's just how it is. In those situations, you have to understand you are one of many. In martial arts, you're one of one. You are you. You might not stand out in terms of maybe you don't have the physical capabilities, but I guarantee you, all of my instructors know every single one of my students and the type of martial artists that they are. And we relate to them at their level so that they can get better doing what they do.
Yeah, it's I find it very interesting to look and see as a business owner for me. So one of the things I wanted to throw out was, I like finding people that are in sports, that are in a team sport as an employee.
Yep.
As as an employer, finding a new employee, I like finding somebody that's in sports and that is a good team member, because it invariably means they're effective as a team player in
Yep.
the ice cream shop. One of the things that I'm seeing, and based on the fact that I do have a couple of martial arts students, is I see their self-discipline is at a higher level. Their the fear that I have is that they sometimes let the other team members push them around, right? Just because they want to kind of fit in, they want to smooth, they want, they want, they don't want to stand out, they don't want to lead necessarily, they don't want to, they want to fit in that middle bar.
Gray man.
And there's something to be said for that I like that. And there's something to be said, but yeah, but I want the qualities that they have to be the leader. And I know that for me, the martial arts is very consistent. Very consistent. There's not the the high and the low. And I think part of that, if I can be permitted to say this, is about winning and losing. Right? As a martial artist, it's less about winning and losing. Yes, there's competitions. Yes, there's state and world and all of that. Take that out of the equation, though, the majority of the time, it's a much more everybody leveling up effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a benefit to that, especially as a business owner looking for how do we get all the employees to level up together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm discovering, as I'm working with teenagers in this current evolution of business ownership, what I've discovered is that the respect given to that, like I never hear anything negative about the martial artists, and on the other flip side, I don't see them, stepping into the limelight necessarily. So you could sit back and say, well, Les, what do you want? Do you want the limelight and what comes with that? Or do you want that consistency? And I think as I'm discovering as a business owner, I would much prefer that consistency.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with that is that's quiet leadership, right? We don't teach our kids to, we want them to step up, right? And do what they're supposed to do, but not in a way that says, look at me, right? They're stepping up in ways that lead other people. They show them, here's what we should be doing versus pick me, pick me, pick me, right? They're not like that. Our students are, I want every kid to volunteer for everything. That's how it is. If there's something that has to be done, volunteer for it. Go do it, right? It's not so you get recognition. It's not so you get credit. It's because that's what you're supposed to do, right? And that's how we teach it across the board. It's like, if something needs to get done, don't go find somebody else to do it. You do it. Just get it done, right? It doesn't matter if it's your job or not. You step up. And if it's something that's above your, pay grade or whatever it is, say, okay, you step in, you start doing, say, I need somebody to help me with this because I'm not sure what I'm doing, right? But the goal is to get them active and doing the things, stepping into that role and just taking care of stuff. And I think the flip side of that is, the problem with that is when that's what you do, people who don't do that start to let you do it. They rely on you to do it because they know you will. So then it becomes a burden because now you're doing everything, and these people who don't do that are letting you. Does that make sense?
100%.
So now you have the burden of all of that responsibility constantly being thrust upon you because you're the one always doing it. And that's hard to get back out of because of the nature of how you do things. You're like, all right, fine, I'll just do it. And people go, well, he's going to do it anyway, so I'll just let him do it. You know what I mean? So then they step back and go, well, he's doing it, so I don't have to do it. And that becomes a catch-22 for somebody who's in a leadership role like that. The example is being set, but it's a different example with some people than it is with others. Other leaders will see that and go, hey, I should be doing something too. They're doing something, I should be doing something. But then there's always those ones that go, well, I'll just let him do it. I know it's going to get done by them. I won't have to do it. So you kind of get caught in this in between, like, should I do it or should I have somebody else do it because I'm tired of doing it? But I don't want to do that because I'll just get it done. So they're caught back and forth between those two things.
Yeah, and I think one of the when you mentioned as we look at wrapping up here for the first part of this, I'm actually looking what you wrote in the closing thing, and you said sports builds athletes, martial arts builds people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and then the next thing is many students benefit from doing both. I mean, I look at this reminded me when I heard football teams started taking ballet. Right?
Lynn
And I
Swan.
thought, huh?
Lynn Swan always jumps to mind for me.
Yeah. And I thought about this and I went, well, why would they do ballet and not do martial arts? Right? Because part of what they were looking for from ballet was the ability to get, limber and stretch and have that strength and power, that explosive power. And I think that's something that martial arts is extraordinary at. So for me, when you look at, if I were a competitive, if I were a coach for instance, for a university football team, every single one of my members would be practicing martial arts every day.
Mm-hmm.
One, for the mental piece, right? For that ability to be meditative, to focus. Secondly, for the flexibility, for the understanding of one's body, so you don't rely on having to rely on your, the physical, the PT person every day, oh,
Yep.
I got an ache here, or I got this going on, right? And then they have to go and spend time with PT, and the PT person runs them through 500 questions and then says, okay, well, you need to go and start doing this.
Yep.
Right. Whereas in martial arts, you're practicing flexibility, you're stretching things in a way that you would never have stretched them before. And to be able to take that into the sport that you're in, holy Toledo, I could just imagine.
Yep. Yeah, the benefits, the cross benefits are quite a bit, but you look at, like I said with my son, martial arts made him better at team sports, but team sports really didn't make him better at martial arts. So that there's like he learned stuff from team sports. Obviously, he was a leader on the team. He was defensive player of the year. He was, he learned how to be part of a team. He learned how to lead a team. All those types of things. He got that from sports, but a lot of that was from what he learned in martial arts that he applied to the team sports. Right? He just put it in a different environment than in the dojo. So what he benefits from martial arts far outweigh what he got from the team sports. He loved it. He had a blast playing team sports, right? He just loved doing it. But he's a physical guy. He loves to do that kind of stuff. But the life things, all the other things that he's gotten out of martial arts are far beyond anything he got from team sports. And he continues to get from martial arts.
Well, I think there's when we look at the conversation that we could definitely, because we're over 30 minutes now, I think we could definitely take another swing at this conversation and look at do a little bit of a deeper dive into it, into what are we looking for. If you're in a job situation, if you're in a team sport, what are some of the things that we could, and I think between the two of us, we could definitely talk about different sports, the different things that it might, for me, I could definitely say it might have added this, it might have added this, it might have added this.
Yep.
So I think we should make number 88 the next iteration. And if, for those of you listening or watching on the replays, or, please send us a text message, send us a message. You know how to get a hold of both of us through some of our social media. My phone number is all over the place in my social media. So send me a text, and we'd love to add that piece of conversation, that question. And we'll definitely give you credit for it, that question, here on our show. Anything else for you?
No, I mean, if I started talking about other stuff, we just keep going. So I would just say, parents who are thinking about sports for their kids, I don't have anything against it, but I would also look at martial arts, even at minimum, a supplement to what your child is doing for sports. Because I guarantee you, they'll get better at the sport they're playing by doing martial arts.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, thank you very much, Mr. Yarwood. I'm going to go ahead and play our little outro.